Hello everybody and welcome to the Money Man. Now, I've got an interesting set of banknotes here and, well, it's not really a set, it's actually a series, a mismatch series. And they're actually Iraqi banknotes during the reign of Saddam Hussein. And the interesting thing is I actually picked up a few of these banknotes from a former US Marine who had served out in Iraq. He actually did 2 tours in Iraq and he actually got hold of these when he was stationed in Baghdad after the fall of the regime, and he brought a load back with him, and he just started selling them. He wasn't a banknote collector or anything like that, so I picked them up really cheap. And this was in the early days when I first started collecting, and I had a bit of a chat with the guy through Facebook, and that's how I purchased them. And then when I started to become a little bit better at banknote collecting and know my stuff, I thought, are these fake? Are these banknotes really legitimately real? And to this day, I'm really not sure, and you'll get a sense of that. But what we'll do is I'll show you the banknotes, and then we'll sort of talk about it, and maybe we can figure it out together. I don't know. So, they're in no discernible order whatsoever, because I can't read Arabic. So I'm just going to show you them, and we're just going to talk a little bit about them. So I'll show you the first one I have. So this one is actually a 1 dinar note. And again, the times, the dates are going to be all over the place. And I am not too sure if some of these are real or fake, because they look, for want of a better phrase, pretty crappy, some of them. There's just no sophistication in them whatsoever. However, we'll talk a little bit about that as we go along. So this one's quite interesting because you can see good old Saddam Hussein, and I say that ironically, of course, is not represented on it. But you can see that we've got some kind of palace on the back here. I have a feeling that that might be Saddam's palace, but I don't know. Again, slap me in the comment section if I'm wrong. I'm just going to make loads of guesses on this one, because there are loads here. I've got lots of banknotes. So here's the next one. You can see this one's got a slightly different colour scheme, but it is essentially the same banknote. So yeah, of the Central Bank of Iraq. So there's no watermark or anything like that. But we've got to remember that Iraq did go through some really difficult economic times during the 90s with the first Gulf War, and then all the sanctions, and then, the second Gulf War. So I have a feeling that's why the quality of some of these banknotes is really suspicious, because obviously they would have been having to produce banknotes really cheaply. And maybe they didn't even have the materials because of the sanctions to produce top quality banknotes. But this one is legitimate. You can see this one's actually got a security strip, so we know that something's going on here. This is a monument in Baghdad, I believe. I think it's some kind of historical monument, but I can't remember off the top of my head what it is. But you've got the man himself. Spin it around and look at the back. So you can see that this is one of the hyperinflation notes. It's 10,000 dinars. And yeah, quite interesting. We've got a mosque on the back there. That may be, actually, maybe it's not a palace that I said before. Maybe there's some similarity there. Oh, I think there is. Potentially. Or maybe not. I don't know. I have no idea what I'm talking about when it comes to these, because there's so many of them, and it's not even worth going into researching them because there's just so many banknotes. Anyway, the next one I have is this one. So quite a large banknote, this one. Again, there's no discernible watermark here, which makes me suspicious, because this space is obviously for a watermark. But if we click on the light, you can see it's just empty. So sometimes when I get these banknotes, I think, there's something not right here. But if they are reproductions, they're actually pretty decent ones. So that makes me think that they're not reproductions. And actually, you can feel where the serial number has actually been printed on. So yeah, I think it's just because of the circumstances. But look at the cut on this. It's terrible. And it just looks, I don't know, it looks like I printed this on my own computer, or my own printer at home, using my computer. It's dodgy. Do you know what I mean? It's just, I don't know. I'm not too sure about this. Is definitely an alarm bell for me. This 250 dinar. Let me know what you think in the comments. Do you think it's real or fake? Honestly, I have no idea. Okay, so let's have a look at the next one. You can see, just look at the cut. It's embarrassing. Look at that. It's absolutely terrible. But yeah, so you can see Saddam features on pretty much all of the banknotes that I'm going to show you. This actually goes back to, I believe, the ancient Sumerians, ancient sort of Mesopotamian culture. So yeah, that's quite interesting. But yeah, I'm not too sure what this monument is here. But yeah, we've got the old 5 dinars. So let's keep going. Now this is another one. And again, the weird thing is that, you know, it looks like they started to run out of ink, because look at the difference. So more alarm bells here, you know. But it's possible that this was just a little bit later, and, you know, given the economic circumstances, the banknotes just started to deteriorate in terms of quality. Again, I'm not sure. But yeah, we'll keep going. Okay, so the next one I have, oh, this is quite a nice banknote actually. It's quite a nice one. The horseman on. This is probably the most iconic actually. This is probably the most recognisable Saddam Hussein Iraq banknote. So yeah, I'll spin it around and look at the back. As you can see, it's 25 dinars. So yeah, quite an interesting banknote. It's a bit more sophisticated, but again, there is a watermark on this one actually. I should show you, because it's got Saddam himself in the watermark. If we just turn it up, there he is, popping through. So it's the same portrait as the one on the right. And you can see he's dressed in his sort of a military uniform. So yeah, and we've got another one with horses on, right here. Quite an interesting banknote. I don't know what the significance of these 3 horses are. I wouldn't be surprised if they were like Saddam's, Uday's, and Qusay's horses, his son's horses. I don't know. I'm just rambling. I'm just making this up as I go along. But yeah, you can see. Again, this one has space for a watermark, and there is actually a watermark in it. It's one of these 3 horses. So you can see the horse's head right there. So yeah. Okay, now this is another one, and again this one is suspicious as well, because if you look at it, a watermark. So what on earth is going on here? Is this just a cheap reproduction, or did the Central Bank of Iraq actually produce it? I don't know. I mean, again, the horses, they look possessed in this one by some kind of demonic spirit. I don't know what on earth is going on there, because they've got this sort of like green accent. So it's not even like the printing is bad, it just looks like they fiddled around with the colours. I don't get it. Again, if you guys know, please let me know. And look at the back. What's that about? What's going on here? It just screams fake to me. But again, like I said, given that they are coming out of Iraq during, you know, quite difficult times, anything's possible. Okay, here's a little one. A little tiny banknote. We've got some palm trees. Spin it around and look at the back. Again, the cut is terrible for this quarter dinar. Really, really bad. So, yeah. Keep going. I told you there was a lot. There are a lot. Here's the next one. Again, this is an interesting one. I think this is a half dinar. Let's see. Yes, I'm correct. We've got that tower again, that spiralling tower. Some kind of ancient settlement right there. Fortified settlement. Again, I'm not sure. You've got to remember as well, in Mesopotamia as well, it's very rich cultural heritage, you know. It's basically considered the cradle of sort of modern civilization. And I say modern as in, you know, like when people started to farm and build cities, you know. We think about Mesopotamia in those terms. So here's another one. And if, again, this should have a watermark, but it doesn't. So I don't know what's going on here. Spin it around and look at the back. So that's quite an interesting, you know, fortified gateway there. So yeah. And we've got a Lion of Babylon. So yeah, very interesting. Okay, let's keep going. Got another one. And again, some of these might look similar, but they are different banknotes actually. And again, this one does have this pattern that runs through it, which is kind of interesting. But again, the paper is so thin that I don't know, they make me highly suspicious, these. spin it around and look at the back. You can see we've got the Dome of the Rock, or the Rock Dome, as it's also known, right there. So lots of nods to Iraq's Islamic heritage here in this 250 dinar note. Okay, let's keep going. Now this one, I don't even know why I'm showing you this, because it is comically bad. But again, is it fake? Is it real? I honestly do not know. Look at the back. Now this is a famous archway that you can see when you drive into the centre of Baghdad. Yeah, these are famous cross swords, which you probably saw during the final stages of the invasion of Iraq during the Second Gulf War. So yeah, you can see they've got the old Iraqi flag right there at the top. So yes, there is more. They're still coming. There's so many banknotes. Nice palm tree here. Yep. So yeah, so you got to remember that when Saddam invaded Kuwait as well, before the first Gulf War, you know, Iraq was subject to a lot of sanctions. And again, during its war with Iran as well, you know, there was a lot of economic damage done by that war as well. When Iraq and Iran went to war, you can see that spiral tower and that old fortified city again. So yeah, no discernible watermark in this banknote. Okay, we've got another 100 dinars, which is similar to the one that I showed you before. It's just the quality is not that bad. It's still pretty appalling. I don't know why they've sort of like given Saddam a sort of digitized look. Again, screams fake to me, but I honestly don't know. So you look at the back. Okay, we're nearly done. We're nearly done. We've only got 4 left. Here's another one. It's very similar to the one I've just shown you, actually, a couple of banknotes before. So you can see some nods to Iraq's, you know, sort of ancient heritage, the pre-Islamic civilizations. A bridge on this one. Now, I believe that this is probably one of the main bridges that goes over one of the main rivers into Baghdad. At a guess. Probably one of the ones that they destroyed to try and slow the Americans down during the Second Gulf War. Again, no discernible watermark on this one either. So let's keep going. So 3 left. Okay, so we've got one again. Terrible cut. I mean, look at the difference. I mean, you're wanting a similar size margin all the way around, you know, and these just look like they've been done so hastily. No standards whatsoever. Interesting sort of square-shaped palace or citadel right here. It's quite an interesting banknote. Again, there is space for a watermark, but there is no watermark. So what on earth is going on? Spin it around, look at the back. And again, the quality is just awful. Central Bank of Iraq, 100 dinars. So yeah. Okay, 2 left. Here we go. Another one with a different portrait of Saddam. He's just in his, you know, suit and tie right now. A bit simpler this one. Again, no discernible watermark. So the sophistication is extremely low in these banknotes. Spin it around, so you can see it's another 100 dinars. And yeah, not much I can really say about these. And the last one, and you're probably thinking, well, you've just shown us this one. Well, it's actually of different quality. So I think that this one is a fake. Yeah, because you can't feel anything. So this one, I should just, yeah, I don't know. But again, if you know, if they started producing really inferior quality banknotes because of the, you know, the economic difficulties, please let me know in the comment section. You can see on this one we've got a bird. Now, it is not actually a watermark. If I spin it around, I'll show you what I mean. So, can you see that you get this weird spirally pattern that goes through the banknote? And then if you spin it around and look at the back, the bird looks like it's kind of like a watermark that's hiding, but it's not. So it's weird. So I don't know what's going on there. It's very, very suspicious to me. But yeah, that is the last one I have for you. So yeah, Not my normal video, I know. I didn't want to really go into any kind of detail because there are so many notes, and actually I've actually got even more here. These are some of the other ones that I have, and I picked all of these up really cheaply. So if they are fake, honestly, I don't care. For me at the time they were really interesting, and I still kind of look at them every now and again because I kind of enjoy banknotes from nations that are no longer with us, or from regimes that are no longer with us. They're interesting. They're a snapshot of history at the time when they were produced. So if anybody knows anything else about these banknotes as to their validity, are they fake, are they not? I know some of them are definitely real without a shadow of a doubt, but some of them are really suspicious. If you know, I'd love to hear from you, especially if you're an Iraqi and you end up just mysteriously, randomly watching my channel. I would love to hear from you guys because, well, you guys have had such a terrible time over the last sort of 30-40 years, and you know, I really wish for peace and prosperity in that country because by Lord do the Iraqis deserve a break. So yeah, so that's what I've got for you today. So thank you so much for watching this video. Don't forget to like and subscribe, and we're on that march up to 1,000 subscribers. We've just passed 800 and we're marching on because I'm going to have something very special planned for 1,000 subs. So yeah, let's see how fast we get there. Okay, it's the Money Man signing out for now. Stay safe and well, everyone.